mainly what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to control his shoulder line. And then if the guy can keep moving his shoulder line around, that's what I'm talking about by mobility. And then when the person goes to bridge, I mean, we're gonna have to get this ability too. We're gonna talk more about the defense end of this as we hit to the later part of the month, go over side control escapes. But if I'm putting a ton of weight on Mark's left shoulder, for him to get going, he's gonna have to, you're gonna bridge towards me. His left foot's gonna push off the ground, but make your shoulder come towards me. Yep, do it again if I put a little more weight. Make your shoulder come towards me. Keep pushing with your foot, turn the corner. So if you see, if the person's legs can hit the ground hard, that's really where all the energy's starting to get those shoulders moving. It's gonna be like impossible for the guy to just use core and like sit up or turn his shoulders. If the guy is actually with a significant, be bridging, so if you're bridging towards me, he's gonna be able to get that shoulder to move. And that's also what we're looking to do. If we're the person underneath, we're really looking to use our whole body as like one big unit and not just like, oh, my upper body. And then remember, it's like legs and hips are the strongest part of your body. So it's always, if your guard can't push the person away directly, it starts pushing into the ground. So we got big muscle groups starting to fight. So me as the guy on top, if I want to settle the guy, really I want to unalign him and make him look away from the direction he's trying to be powerful in. So if Mark was trying to bridge in this direction, the first thing I'm actually going to do is I'm not going to even address his feet and legs, I'm too far away. I'm going to go after his face and make him look really hard away from me. This is going to take his ability to create energy in this direction and just muddle it, fucks it up. If I was going to throw a punch at someone, but I had to look really hard the opposite direction, the punch is going to be crappy. My shoulders can't unwind. If I have to throw a baseball, football, but you need to look really hard in the direction, it's going to be a shitty throw. It's the same with the guy trying to get energetic and athletic with his legs. Even though I can't get to that end of the lever, I got the other end right next to me. So we're going to go underhook, cross face, and what I'd be looking to do from this position, if Mark goes to bridge into me, I drop as much weight as I can onto his face and try to make him look away. So if you bridge your hips towards me, it's not going to do much if he can't look towards me. The bridge is going to be all muffled, shitty, and weak. Let's start first with cross face under. We'll talk about settling control and forcing mount, and then we'll talk about go behinds after this. So I have an underhook, which is great. So even if Mark does bridge up now into turtle, like past me, he's not going to be on top of me. I'm going to be as well. You can come all the way up to turtle. He's not going to be on top of me. He got like energetic and now he can bounce around, but I'm still on top of him. If he's got the underhook on me, it would be the opposite. If he's got this underhook and he bridges, now he would end up on top of me, energetic. So if I can keep an underhook, this is gonna control who can path to who's back, hooked underneath, and then in addition, I'm driving weight in his face. If I'm looking to settle the guy, hold him down, I don't want to have my weight square. Now if Mark goes one way, it bumps me, it goes the other way, it bumps me, he can start to get like rocking and reeling, provoke reactions and shit. I want to be like dead and flat. So I have most of my weight on the mat next to Mark, waiting to see if he tries to get out, and then I just have my head and chest on him. My hips should be lower than his ribs too, so if he goes to bump and bounce, I'm just like a weird, thinking of like if someone's gonna bench press weight, and it's 200 pounds, I'm about 200 pounds. If you made it like 150 and 50, that's gonna be the most awkward to move around. So you purposely wanna be heavy on one side. If the person bridges into me, what I do, so as you start to bridge in, I lift my weight off my knees and I throw the weight in the face. I'm trying not to mash it too much. But throwing the weight into the face, so if Mark keeps bridging towards me, it's just gonna be very hard for him to get going. If the guy goes to bridge in the other direction, so if you bridge this way, I lift my head and drop my hips. What I wanna make sure, we go rotate a little bit more. I wanna make sure that there's not too much surface area of me latched on to surface area in him. I don't want my chest covering his chest, so when he starts to bridge, it's just gonna really get me going, and I'm gonna be like really like reactive. We go back. If what I do instead, when he goes to bridge this direction, if I lift my head and lower my hips, I call it skydiving. I'm gonna go very convex with my body, and then it's just gonna cut down the surface area. There's not a lot of me on him. It's like one little round part of my ribs on him. And it makes it really difficult for the guy to bridge you the other direction. So you bridge that way, my head goes up, my hips go down, you bridge into me, I lift my leg towards me. I lift my weight off my knees, I drive in, you bridge away. I drop my hips, I lift my head, you bridge into me. I lift my ass, I drive into your face, you bridge away. I drop down. So let's just ride out our opponent some doing this. I want to keep something always on my opponent's hip crease too. This could be my hip or it could be my knee. So when I'm doing this, I can keep a knee to the hip crease. I could drop a hip to the hip crease. I just want to make sure that if Mark tries to get his right leg to go under my leg, if you try to get your right knee to go under my thigh, it's just going to be difficult. I got something at his hip crease. I don't want him to be able to go under willy-nilly and get me in half guard. So I keep my hip to his hip, my knee to his hip, or I stay away from his leg. And then for mount, let's just do a super simple mount capture. I put a knee on the hip crease and I go no further. If the guy starts bucking around like crazy, I can just drop right back to side control. When he's done, I put my knee back in like an antagonistic way. And when the guy doesn't bump around a lot, I'm going to wrench the arm out of place, forehead to the mat above his head. And then from here, I step to tripod. And now if you bridge and bump around from here, Mark, every time the guy bridges and bumps around, we start putting shit under his back, ankles, heels, feet. And then his hips are so far away, all he's doing is he's getting himself set up. If you start to bridge in your direction, he's really just loading himself up. Your submissions at this point, it's going to be very difficult for this to be out. Too much.